Good morning. Please be seated. We are very happy to open the Tel Aviv session of this meeting in honor of the 60th birthday of our colleagues of Shimon and Eliezer. And I would like to ask Professor Itamar Rabinovich, the president of the university, to say a few words to the members of this meeting. Please.
Shalom, good morning, and welcome to Tel Aviv University and to this festive event. I should begin with a disclaimer. I've known Professor Rabinovich, the physicist, but we are not related. So I'm absolutely objective. But naturally, I'd like to focus my remarks on Shimon Yankelevich, my friend and partner. Shimon's scientific achievements in the study of physics and string theory, I'm sure, are going to be discussed extensively during this symposium. And I'm certainly not in a position to say anything of substance or value about them, but I'd like to speak about Shimon, the man, the person, and the scientific and academic leader. To those of you who came from abroad and are not familiar with our system of academic governance, I would say the following: if you have followed, at least superficially, Israeli politics, and you've been amazed by some of what we've been able to invent by way of governing the country or trying to govern the country, this would give you an insight into what the founding fathers of the Israeli universities were able to invent by way of academic governance. And for many years, Israeli universities were governed, or apparently governed, through an impossible system, based on the assumption that all academic administrators were saints. So there was a dual hierarchy, one hierarchy headed by a president in charge of the administration, the other headed by a rector in charge of the academy, and they were supposed to work amicably, cordially, and together. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it did not. There were other elements to the system that certainly were not up to the challenges that higher education generally and in this country has faced, and so we did go, actually during the years that Shimon was rector of the university and I was president, went through a governance reform. In any event, Shimon was director of the university for 4 years and vice rector before that, and has devoted a lot of time and effort and talent, and even more than that, a profound understanding of what science and the academy are all about, not only into the governance of Tel Aviv University, but to its development and to guaranteeing that scientific values are always kept in mind, perhaps not always as the governing criterion, but certainly are kept in mind. Tel Aviv University and the whole university system in Israel went through some tumultuous years, and being at the helm was a very demanding task, and Shimon excelled in that. He and I worked together very well and very amicably, and I think we had the misfortune of testing our ability to work together in the toughest years that this university has faced, and our ability to work together, I think, was particularly essential during these years. I developed the highest regard for Shimon as a human being, as a leader, and as I said, as a man who doesn't just administer, but always remembers that this is not just an entity that needs to be governed, but this is first and foremost a scientific academic institution, was a beacon during these years. And perhaps most important, particularly those of you who come from the United States, bear in mind that at some point some scientists decide that they've had enough with science and become academic administrators, they still understand science and have scientific values, but they are first and foremost administrators with some science in the background. Shimon was not that kind of an academic administrator. He remained a very active scientist. He continued to produce during his tenure as vice rector and rector. And in a very natural, I would say, seamless way, he went back from administration to doing science, full swing, grants, publications, doctoral students, and all. And this is admirable and has been noted and noticed around the campus as an example of what leadership on the university campus is. And so with all this in mind and bearing in mind from the lofty heights of my 64 years that 60 is a tender age, I'd like to congratulate Shimon on this festive day, to thank all of you who gathered here to participate in an important symposium, but also to pay tribute to both Shimon and Eliezer, and to wish you a very fruitful, productive, and enjoyable time. Thank you.
I would like to invite now Professor Dani Leviatan, our rector. Please.
Thank you, Marek. Welcome to Tel Aviv University. I'm always speaking after the president, and he's given a good introduction to what I was going to say. Unlike him, who is a historian of the Middle East, I'm a mathematician, so I'm closer to physics. Nevertheless, I understand nothing at what Shimon and the rest of you are doing. I can only say that this is a very impressive conference from titles of the lectures, and in fact it has been already going for the last 2 years. Does not mean that I cannot kind of open it at Tel Aviv University. So I welcome you here. Now, being closer to the sciences, I'm demonstrating the hierarchy that is now at Tel Aviv University. You see, the president has a tie, I'm without a tie, and the faculty are without a jacket. So this is part of the hierarchy that we have established here at the university. And this was done during the years that Shimon's tenure as rector of the university. I know Shimon for many years, many years. Actually, I don't want to go into the whole history, but when he came to the university, to Hebrew University in Jerusalem, to study mathematics and physics at the time, this was a combination. First year, he was in my class. I was an assistant in mathematics. Later on, as dean of the Faculty of Exact Sciences, I basically approved Shimon as faculty member at this university. So we really go back quite a few years. And what I can say about Shimon, except I will not repeat what the president said before me, because every word that the president said I could have repeated. But I want to say that, Shimon, you should not be depressed being now after 60, although, as someone said before me, you will be surprised. It is much closer to 70 than it is to 50, being 60. I call it the Doppler effect. And, but on the other hand, you can always say, as I do when I'm asked how old I am, you can always say you are closer to 50 than to 40, which is also true, because we don't lie. We are scientists, right? So we don't lie. So since we start late and you are about to begin a conference that should be on time, I will finish with this. Shimon, many returns, many happy returns, and also to Eliezer in this opportunity, although We don't know one another for many years, but we have been talking on the phone in recent years. Success in the conference, and best of luck.
Fred? Where's Fred? Please. Now we start the scientific sessions, and the first one is chaired by Fred. So, please.
Thank you, Marek. I just wanted to begin by saying a few words to Eliezer and Shimon, who I know both for, I think, must be more than half of their 60 years each. And my great admiration for both of you for, first of all, your science and scientific achievements, for your guidance of the next generation, in fact, next generations in Israel, and, of course, for your leadership academically and otherwise. And particularly to Shimon, who spent many years at SLAC and many visits to SLAC, our personal friendship and the friendship of our families. Thank you. So now we begin. Another person who, over about at the same time period I've known from Stanford, Lenny Susskind, and he'll be telling us about the landscape and other new paradigms. Lenny.